So hi, welcome to Good Noise Podcast. I'm Shane,
I'm Glory.
and we're here with.
I'm Tucker from LS Dunes.
And we're asking some questions to say about the upcoming album, Past Lives. So congrats on that, by the way. How do you feel about the response to the announcement so far?
Oh, first off, thank you for the congrats on that. Appreciate it. I am overwhelmed. It's amazing. You know, we had really no expectations coming into this, so it's crazy to see people getting tattoos and making their own merch and all this stuff. So it's honestly just all I could say is overwhelming, and we appreciate it.
That's fucking
Holy
awesome.
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Album rocks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Band
Thank you.
itself came out of left field, and then as soon as everything kind of got announced, I was like, this is one of my most anticipated releases of the year. It did not
Thank you.
disappoint.
Oh no.
Thank
Not
you.
So
one.
Thank
fucking good.
That's nice to hear because, like, no one's really heard it. So it's nice to have somebody's opinion that has heard the record. You know?
Yeah. I mean, like, just putting the five of you guys in a room, I think that, like, whatever you're going to make is good. It could be fucking ambient noise, and it would probably be awesome. I'm just saying. Like,
Yeah.
Thank you.
So is there any meaning behind the album title or cover art?
So the cover art was just my best friend Gordy is a painter, and that's his painting, and we just thought it was so striking, a kind of a haunting image, but also beautiful. We call them poppies, like the poppies, the flowers, but we just thought it was a striking image, and it really had no representation of what the band could sound like or what we kind of wanted to have the cover be a piece of art, and I think we achieved that. As far as the album title, it's definitely like, calling back to our other bands and the lives we've led in this music industry that is, kind of provided for us, and not monetarily, but spiritually and mentally for mental health, all that stuff. Music's been there for all of us. So we, it's kind of harkening back to that.
nice.
For sure.
So can you tell us a little bit about your writing process for this album?
Yeah, it was like no other that I've ever experienced, because not a single note basically was made in the same room, except for, actually that's not true, Permanent Rebellion and Sleep Cult were both written together in a room, but the rest of for the rest of the album, it was basically made in our own home studios, separate, in the cloud, shared on the Dropbox.
Nice. So, like, you guys, obviously this was a pandemic kind of idea. Was it just like you guys were shooting the shit and you're like, well, like, who kind of made the first move in terms of getting you guys together?
Well, myself and my manager Paul had the idea of kind of like just putting a band together just for kind of like for fun, because I felt like I had just bought all this recording equipment, and I built a studio in my garage. So I was talking about, maybe doing some remote recording and wanting to write. And, we kind of came up with the idea of like starting a band just kind of for fun, just to get have a creative outlet. So, I immediately called Frank, and he was down, because Frank and I did the Future Violence together. And, not only are we close friends, but we get along and speak the same musical language. So that I knew that, like, he and I would get stuff done as far as having fun and being motivated to write. And then, of course, Tim, our bass player, I've been Thursday with for basically my entire life. So he's the type of player, you need somebody like him in the rhythm section to make you a better player, and he makes me a better player. And then, of course, Travis is just a wizard on guitar. And, we met many, 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 many moons ago, probably 20, 21 years ago or something. And I just always loved him as a person and always loved the way he played. So we got him involved. And then, we kind of held out to the last minute because we wanted to get Anthony involved, but we wanted to trick him into joining the band. We didn't want to just ask him and have him be like, oh yeah, I'll do that. And like nothing ever happened. So we made 5 songs, and we sent it to him. Didn't tell him who was in the band. I just said it was just a couple of friends of mine, and he loved it. And a few days later, we got the first song back, which would be Antibodies, which is song number 2 on the record, but it's also the first song that the band, minus Anthony, worked on. So that was the first song he chose to sing on. So it's a very special song for us and for me on the record.
Nice.
Wow.
So all the writing was done remotely. Was all the recording done remotely as well?
Well, yeah. I Frank and I went to Will Yip. I went in the studio and recorded drums with Will. I brought Frank with me, and this was still when Frank had a broken hand. So I wanted him there for moral support, and also Frank's got a great ear when it comes to not only just music in general, but drums. So I wanted to have him there to give me ideas on fills and such. And Will, our producer, Will Yip, is just amazing. He's an amazing multi-instrumentalist and just a wizard when it comes to, songwriting and structure and whatnot. So I had a dream team at the studio with me. Then like a month or two later, when Frank was, in the midst of healing up, he still had to, still had a plate in his hand, but he went in and recorded with Will as well. And then Travis and Tim recorded at home, which we then sent to Will via the cloud. Will reamped it, which means he played it through, for Tim, he played it through an Ampeg cabinet and mic'd it up. So that way we can manipulate the sound. So, and then Anthony obviously did vocals with Will.
Okay. Sounds good.
Gotcha. So what song off this album took longest to write, and which one is your personal favorite?
So my personal favorite is Antibodies, just because of it was the first actual song sent around, first song Anthony sang on. But I think Gray Veins is a top favorite of mine, just because I think there was many versions of that going around. A lot of it's a tough song to play. It's a complicated song. There's a lot going on, but I think that that one's definitely like my favorite to listen to. I like them all. It's insane. I really love the whole entire record. It's hard to pick one. Blender, I feel like, is such a great guitar song. Like if you like guitars, like Blender is definitely a song to listen to, because I think those two really showcase their skills in that one. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's difficult to say. This was never supposed to be a full record. You know what I mean? We were going to release a song here and a song there and stuff like that. But so we didn't write it as a cohesive record. It just ended up being a cohesive record.
Yeah.
So, to me, I think it's, not to sound like a jerk, but it's all killer.
Oh yeah.
Killer.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you.
So how'd the track list for the album come about? Did you guys write the opener be the opener, closer be a closer, shuffle around, see what fits? What was that process like?
We kind of knew that Sleep Cult was going to be the last track. Sleep Cult's a very kind of low. It's not like a punk song. It's like more of a '50s doo-wop song, and we just thought that would be a great way to close out the record. And then we decided pretty early on that 2022 was going to be the opener. So I feel like those are once you get the bookends, it's kind of, I don't know if it's harder or easier to fill in the middle, but for us, it was kind of easy. We just filled in the blanks, and we all agreed pretty quickly.
Nice. And you had mentioned like this wasn't supposed to be an album. So like, at what point during the process were you guys like, this is becoming something bigger than just singles?
I think when we decided, because we could have put this out ourselves, we could have done that whole thing. You know what I mean? Because essentially, we all have other bands that do pretty well. So, we didn't want to rely on a built-in fan base. You know what I mean? We wanted to kind of to move out of our comfort zone, and that's when we decided to join forces with Fantasy Records, who've been amazing so far. So I think once we decided to go that route, we knew like, okay, I think we have a record here. I think releasing a grip of songs here and there for people in the pandemic would have been cool, but the record kind of came into its own, almost overnight. You know what I mean? Like one day we woke up and we're like, whoa, we have like a bunch of songs that fit together.
Yeah.
And was that the signing to that, because like obviously you guys are all on your own bands, was the signing to that label when you guys were kind of like, we'll take this and we'll make a record, we'll play shows off of it and kind of go with that? Or was the idea always to kind of play shows with the project as well?
I think once we realized music was coming back, because you got to remember during this time, we didn't know whether live shows were going to be a thing. We all were like, well, what are we going to do? What are we going to do to, provide for ourselves or our families or whatever? So the idea was just to kind of put out some songs, and if we ever got to play them live, we would be excited. So now that things are coming back, the plan is to go as full on as we possibly can. You know, this is a real band. This is not like, you know, one of these bands that like has been put together just to, you know, pump out tracks. This is a band that wants to work and wants to play songs, and we're just excited to play these songs as we are for people to hear them on the record. So
Hell yeah.
Love it. So, would you be able to tell us where your headspace was at while you were creating this record?
yeah, absolutely. Personally, it was one of the reasons I woke up in the morning.
Hmm.
You know, like besides my family, you know, my wife and my daughter and all that, I would literally fiend uh, for riffs. You know, like
Yeah.
I would wake up in the morning and hope somebody sent around a riff or something, you know, overnight. You know, and on those days that I got a riff, I immediately would be like, all right, I'm going to put my daughter down at noon. I have 2 hours. I'm going to go into the drum room and I'm going to write, you know, a beat to this, you know. So it really became like a drug to me. Like I
Yeah.
couldn't wait to work on it. And I think I could speak for everyone on that same sentiment.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
I love that.
So how do you recommend your fans to listen to this album for the first time? Should they do it in the car with friends, in the dark with headphones on? Is it a workout album, party album? What do you personally recommend?
I don't know if any of y'all are old enough to remember that Maxell commercial where the guy is sitting in a chair and he gets his hair blown back.
Oh yeah, yeah, I know that. I know that.
Yeah, so I suggest finding a comfortable chair and putting it on really loud and just sitting and taking it in. I don't know. I'm so in love with this record and I hope people like it, because I can't even believe that I get to be a part of it.
For sure. And how did you personally listen to it for the first time? Did you guys all listen to it together in a room, or did you listen to it separately in a car? What was that like?
All separately. You know, again, this was mid pandemic,
Mm,
so a lot of it was getting a mix from Will and putting in the headphones. I remember being on tour with Thursday and you know, 5 minutes before I'm going on, I had my headphones on listening to a new mix that got sent in. So
wow.
and we also we had pretty from all of our home studios, we had pretty fleshed out demos for a really long time. Like we had all, the album pretty much done
Wow.
in demo form. So we did a lot of listening separately at home to what we had recorded ourselves.
Hmm.
So
Gotcha. All right, that makes sense. So this one should be super, super quick off the top of your head. I want you to describe this album for new listeners in 3 words. No more, no less.
3 words.
Hmm.
It fucking rips.
There you
Fuck
go.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
So in that same train of thought, is there a certain feeling or emotion you want listeners to have while going through the album?
Um, I don't know. I think there's a lot of dark subject matter on it, but there's also a lot of hope and you know, this record was created out of nothing. You know, legitimately created out of nothing, and it was created on pure will and drive. And you know, for me, it was like I would watch YouTube all day long just to figure out how to record drums. You know, just so I could like write with these fantastic, amazing humans. And I just think that what really shines through in this record is the mutual respect and admiration we have each other for each other's bands and
Mhm.
for each other's careers, because you know we've got a combined you know 100 years of experience in this. You
Yeah.
know, each of us have been in bands for 20 years, so um, we met very early on, and the admiration and mutual respect came right from the start. So I just think that that's really what kind of shines through.
Hell
The
yeah,
immediacy of the immediacy of trusting one another and all that.
for sure.
For sure. So what is your favorite memory that you made while creating this album?
Huh. There was so many breakthroughs. I mean, I remember sitting at Frank's house, he and I like doing sketches of the cover,
Hmm.
you know, and like coming up with this crazy idea that actually came to fruition. Like every element of it came to fruition. And I remember just talking to Gordy, who my best friend who did the painting, you know, and seeing that for the first time. I mean, there's just so many things. This whole project is a bunch of firsts.
Yeah.
You know, it's the first time I had recorded completely remote, you know, and then since then I did the Jim Ward's Dagger record and the Sparta record as well. But this was the first project that was mine, you know, like ours, like, you know, with the Jim Ward stuff and the Sparta stuff, that was like his band and his side project, you know what I mean? Or solo project, sorry. So this was like our band and the first time that we had written completely remote, which is an insane idea to me. I just can't believe that we were able to do it. And, you know, learning how to record, you know, learning how to like file share, stuff like that. Like there's just a lot of breakthroughs. I remember the first time I played some of the demos for my wife. She's very critical of my quote unquote art. And she was like, "Oh yeah, this is good." And
Got the wife stamp of approval.
I was like, "Oh shit, like we're on to something here." So
Yeah.
and then, you know, becoming friends with Will Yip, he's just such a wonderful human being, and then, you know, being able to reconnect with my friends, you know, with Tim, with Anthony, with Travis, with Frank. You know, it's because a lot of times when you're in a touring band, you meet people very early on and develop these friendships. Like I met Travis 21 years ago when we took Coheed on one of their first tours.
Wow.
But because we toured so much after that, we go in separate directions, different tours. We're in different parts of the country at different times. So, you know, we see each other maybe once a year at a festival if we're lucky.
Wow.
You know, so just being able to reconnect with old friends and shit like that. So yeah.
Hell yeah.
I love that.
So you're currently on tour, so we have to ask, what's been the go-to snack for you?
Oh, I mean, there's no fucking doubt in the world that it's peanut butter pretzels.
Nice.
Oh my God. Yeah. That's good. That's based.
Yeah,
I like that.
I think my next tattoo might be a one peanut butter pretzel with a David Bowie lightning bolt on it, just because. And my two loves.
Respect it.
I mean, why not? Why not put it together? I love it.
Right?
I love it. Perfect.
You
Where
get
would
it?
where would you get that? Is that like arm, thigh? Where would you put that masterpiece?
I don't know. Maybe forehead. I don't know.
Forehead.
I was gonna say that.
Exactly. That's perfect.
Somewhere sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on the topic of food, if the band was a dish, what dish would the band be and why?
I think it would be a some sort of vegan burrito, because it would be vegan because everyone could eat it.
That's good. All right.
That's good.
So for the last couple of questions, we're going to shift completely away from music and go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
Let's see. My last meal would probably be some sort of falafel sandwich, some sort of some sort of falafel sandwich, and my drink probably be, that's a tough one. Maybe a coffee, black coffee. Fuck it.
Okay.
Damn. Any sugar in that or just straight
Hell no.
coffee?
Straight black coffee.
You enjoy that?
I do.
Wow. God
Yeah.
damn.
I cut out a bunch of sugar a long time ago, so it's, you know, if you numb your taste buds to thinking that nothing tastes good, you know, like the taste of nothing.
Yeah.
You get good at eating.
Perfect. All right. I'll write that one down. So if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
That's a good question. I have no idea. I feel like I am in a fictional world of going on tour with the Dunes because I can't believe it's real. So maybe I would want to live there before I start doing it next week.
Oh,
I can't believe that tour starts next week.
it's fucking
I'll be
Maybe-
seeing you guys
maybe-
in Jersey, but
Is it
whenever it
next
starts,
week or is it? Yeah, whenever. It's like maybe 2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
It's it's soon.
I'll be seeing you
Yeah,
guys in Jersey.
soonish.
So fucking stoked. So stoked.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah. So I have the honor of asking the last question, and every single person that we've spoken to has said that it is the most important question. What's your favorite color?
Well, the absence of color, black, is my favorite color. But I think that if we're going with actual color, orange.
Oh, that's a
Yeah.
good pick. Very good pick.
Every
You have
dr-
a specific
every-
shade?
Well, every drum kit I pretty much own is orange by design. The cover of the record has orange in it.
Mhm.
my personal preference, and this is gonna sound crazy, is like Home Depot orange.
Oh yeah. No, you're onto something with that.
Thank you.
Yeah. I respect it. It's good.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. All right.
So as I said, that's all the questions you have today. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
Um, yeah, I mean, like Anthony's got a new record out. The singer of Thursday, Jeff, he's got a new band called, or not a new band, but a band called No Devotion. That record's out. It's amazing. Our record comes out 11/11/22. I just want to say thank you to y'all and all the people who have really got behind this band without even knowing a single thing about it. It's really amazing, and we as a group can't believe that we created something and people want to talk to us about it. So thank you.
Oh yeah.
Of course.
Well, thank you for now. That's been Tucker from LS Dunes, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.